In the Muscogee County School District, creating we is more than words. It's our commitment. Together, educators, staff, parents, and our community unite with one purpose: to lift every student higher, to inspire every learner to succeed, and to build a stronger, united community where our shared commitment shapes tomorrow. For students, creating we means learning in an environment where they feel supported, connected, and inspired to reach their fullest potential.
Creating we means we're all in this together, helping each other succeed.
For staff, creating we means teamwork, collaboration, and knowing every effort helps shape the future of our students.
Here in the Muscogee County School District, when we say we, it means every educator is united for student success.
For our Board of Education, creating we means ensuring every decision reflects our collective commitment to excellence, equity, and opportunity for all.
Creating we means we get to inspire and equip all students to achieve unlimited potential.
For Superintendent Dr. David Lewis, creating we means leading with a vision that unites students, staff, families, and the community as one. It's about fostering a culture where MCSD shines as a beacon of educational excellence, where everyone is known, valued, and inspired.
As a parent, creating we means my child's success is everyone's success.
We are the Muscogee County School District. Creating we means celebrating the spirit of unity, where every voice matters and every action makes a difference.
Congratulations to the Muscogee County School District's 2026 Teacher of the Year honorees, sponsored by the Muscogee Educational Excellence Foundation. You truly represent the best of what a teacher can be, and we are proud to celebrate your excellence.
From the soil of struggle, the seeds were sown. Through chains and pain, our strength has grown. A legacy built on hopes and dreams. We rise again through endless dreams. We rise with freedom in our soul. We stand, we fight for stories untold. Lift every voice, let the anthem be sung. For justice, for love, for everyone. Through rivers of tears, we cross the divide. With courage and hope, we won't be denied. From Harriet's trail to Martin's dreams, we march on still like a mighty stream. We rise with freedom in our soul. We stand, we fight for stories untold. Lift every voice, let the anthem be sung. For justice, for love, for everyone. We rise with freedom in our soul. We stand, we fight for stories untold. Lift every voice, let the anthem be sung. For justice, for love, for everyone.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our regularly scheduled board work session, February 9th, 5 o'clock p.m. We are open this work session and we will go through our normal agenda with each committee. And we just want to welcome, if we have any visitors or school leaders here, we welcome you to the meeting. The first item that we do have is a public agenda. I did see an email from Madison. She will come back at a later time if she needs to. And then we have a David McKellar. All right, make your way to the podium over here. And while you're on your way, I'll go ahead and read our official background and rationale. All official meetings of the Board of Education shall be open to the press and the public. However, the board may meet in executive session. Speakers' remarks should be directed to the board and shall be limited to 5 minutes. Citizens are encouraged to address items on the board agenda or to initiate presentations of issues appropriate for school board consideration. If an individual desires to speak, they may contact the superintendent's office to be placed on the agenda. The board meeting or work session is not the appropriate place to address either criticism of particular employees or individual parent complaints when such complaints have not been first addressed to the attention of the appropriate administrator for a resolution. Citizens are encouraged to follow the normal channels to address individual parent complaints or problems. And with that, Mr. Keller, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, Madam Chair, Superintendent Lewis, esteemed board members, administrators, faculty, and a special thank you to Ms. Karen Jones for setting up this opportunity for me to address you tonight. As a father of 4, I want to express my deep personal gratitude for the profound lifelong impact that your positions have on our children, who are our community's most precious resource. Thank you for your service. My name is David McKellar, and I'm a representative of Southern Peach Dental. Our practice specializes in delivering in-school dental services. We help remove barriers so that every child can access the healthy smile that they deserve. I want to tell you a story of my childhood that has stayed with me. When I was 10 years old, I loved playing baseball. I just have wonderful memories being on the field, throwing, hitting, and learning the game. One evening I was up to bat when I saw the perfect pitch. I swung as hard as I could, connected with the ball, and ran. After rounding first base, I noticed some commotion. I looked up, realizing I'd hit my very first home run. After running the bases, my coach retrieved the ball. I remember that feeling when he handed it to me. The first thing I thought was how much I wanted to show my dad. My parents, having 7 children, worked tirelessly every day. To say they were busy was an understatement. I felt fortunate that my mom could even bring me to the games. My dad, having to support our large family, would occasionally come to the games on his way home from work. His love for the game is the reason I began playing. He was a perfect example of putting his responsibilities above his interests to support our family's needs. I know he would have loved to be there. Unfortunately, this night he wasn't. Despite being in the middle of the game, I began running around trying to track down a cell phone, which was hard to come by back then. I called and told him what I had accomplished. Of course, he was thrilled. He told me to have the coach sign the ball and bring it home so he could see it. I held the ball tight in my hand on the drive home, ready to share the story with my dad. After pondering about this experience over the years, I realized that my dad had the wisdom to highlight my actions as well as the coach's involvement in this achievement by asking him to sign the ball. Now, I want to ask the board to remember a time where you personally felt an experience of independence and pride of accomplishing something great, followed by a celebration in private with your family. Perhaps your experience highlights members of the community's impact on your life. The goal of our company is simple: to create winning moments for students to share with their families. Perhaps a we moment? I picture the countless moments when children show their parents with pride their beautiful, clean teeth. Our mobile team visits schools in the spring and fall to perform routine dental services. Every student then receives a new toothbrush along with a copy of a dental report card that is emailed to the parents so they stay informed. Best of all, there's no fee for the schools or districts for our services. The process is simple and fully transparent. A flyer is sent home to parents informing them of our services. Parents fill out an online consent form on our website, and when these smile days are scheduled with the schools, services are completed. In Muscogee County, many students face disadvantaged situations and have barriers for dental care. Tonight, I'm respectfully asking the board to approve our office to serve your students by bringing high quality in-school dental care. By partnering with us, you're giving these students the opportunity to create an achievable winning moment that parents so deeply rely on. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. So typically, okay, Mr. Knopf will follow up. I was going to say the vendor typically goes through our procurement process, and it comes to the board through the procurement process. So Mr. Knopf is the person on the very end over here.
Okay, wonderful. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We have our CTA report update, Ms. Buckner, Education Committee.
Well, good evening. Good evening, Dr. Lewis, school board members, cabinet, and community members. My name is Dr. Victoria Thomas, and I'm the Senior Director of CTAE STEAM and Robotics. And it's my pleasure to bring you this annual update for CTAE on this first day of I Love My Future Week during the month of February, which is also CTAE month. This year, the theme for CTAE month for the entire state of Georgia is Why CTAE? And I decided to make that sort of the theme of my presentation to you this evening. The very first answer to why CTAE is that we have a growth mindset in our district led by our superintendent, and we believe that every able-bodied student will eventually join the workforce. That may be immediately after high school, after a 2-year degree, after a 4-year degree, or even beyond that. But we believe in a school-to-work continuum. So we know that every student will eventually, if they're able-bodied, will eventually join the workforce. So that's the real reason for CTAE, because that is our mission day in and day out in the CTAE department, to prepare students. But taking it a little bit further, you know, we love our acronyms in education. So I'm going to tell you about about our workforce alignment, high impact, and then how you can be involved in CTAE. To begin with workforce alignment, the foundation of what we do, of course, is to prepare students for work and expose them to careers. But in 2024, our governor made that a focus for the whole state when he launched the Top State for Talent. And that was in 2024 with HB 982. Then also in HB 192 introduced the high demand career list, and there was a statewide list and also a regional list that gets updated annually. And I spoke to you all about that in my last presentation last year. But then last month, our community spoke a lot about workforce alignment. So the first event that happened was about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. The Regional Prosperity Initiative launched their new economic development plan for the community called Columbus Ahead. And Dr. Lewis is a part of that group that put that plan together as well. But on page 10, that deals with talent, there's a quote that says, a goal that we want to ensure that every student has access to education and work-based learning opportunities to complete industry-recognized credentials that will prepare them for careers in Columbus. And then about a week or so later, there was the Georgia Economic Outlook luncheon that was held at Columbus State University, and CSU released their economic report. And in that report, they called out strengthening pathways between education providers, employers, and workforce initiatives, especially in areas of manufacturing, healthcare, and technical fields, will be essential for our community. So I wanted to show you how CTAE is already aligned in those areas. Oops, too far. The first one is in technical areas. So also speaking at that luncheon was Missy Kendrick, who is the president and CEO of Choose Columbus, which is an arm of our development authority. And she spoke about the importance of advocating for career pathways and robotics programs. And I'm happy to say that the development authority put their money where their mouth is, and they gave us a $10,000 donation toward the first robotics competition event that will be held here in March. So they believe in what we're doing. They believe in robotics as a means for developing technical skills in students. Another way that we're aligned is our 4-year-old program that the Muscogee County School District has with Piedmont Columbus Regional. In that program, students are employed in various, paid positions in the hospital. We started out in the first year with only 10 students participating, and now we have 20 students. They like the program so much, they hired even more students. And they're not just doing nursing, but they're also doing IT work. They're doing things with dietary, respiratory therapy, those kinds of things. So it's not just your classic nursing. And then another example that aligns with manufacturing or skilled trades is Freeman and Associates, led by David Hawkins, his efforts with the AGC Skills Challenge. We have students that participate in that annually. And the photos you see there are from this past year in November. We even have some principals you might recognize back of their heads. We had principals come and tour and see those students participating in those events. So students are competing in brick masonry and wiring buildings and lots of different things that supports manufacturing and skilled trades. And as we move on to high impact and the impact that CTAE has, I have to put this on the opening slide because I'm so proud of our graduation rate in CTAE. As high as it is in Muscogee County as a whole, it's even higher when you consider CTAE. So I'm proud that this past year, we actually reached 100%. Now, we were a little bit behind, 2 or 3 students that didn't make it over the last couple of years, but we did hit 100% last year with 893 out of 893 students that were CTAE concentrators, meaning that they took at least 2 classes, maybe 3, in CTAE, and they all graduated. So that just shows the impact of being in a CTAE program. It is essential in helping students to graduate. And looking at our enrollment statistics, you'll see here a 3-year trend in middle school and high school enrollment. And so even as the enrollment overall in middle school and high school has declined slightly, the enrollment in CTA programs has increased to 50% of all middle school students and 70% of all high school students. In terms of credentials, we have 2 data points here. For credentials, we look at end of pathway assessments, which is a test that a student takes upon completing a 3-year, 3 years or 3 courses in the same area, and that can be juniors or seniors, right? Okay, so that's why the end of pathway assessment number is a little bit different from credentials of value. The credentials of value statistic includes only those who are graduating, and in that number they count, again, concentrators where they only have to take 2, but they probably take all 3. And they're either earning a credential, meaning they passed their end of pathway assessment, or they earned a certificate of, technical certificate of credit from Columbus Tech as a dual enrollment student. So that number has risen to 62% last year. In terms of earnings, we do track the students that are participating in work-based learning. And you can see that even though the number of students hasn't increased that much, there was a greater increase percentage-wise in the wages that were earned to over $1 million in FY24. Because of how that's calculated, we don't get the numbers for 2025 from the state at this point, so I don't have 2025. And it might be troubling at first glance to see that the number of employers has decreased, but that's actually a positive number, because that means that the employers that we are working with are hiring more students, kind of like Piedmont, doubling from 10 to 20. And then they're also maybe paying our students a little bit more. So that's actually a good figure there. Continuing with the high impact, I wanted to make you aware of some new things that are going to be happening next school year. We're very happy that Columbus High will be adding yet another CTAE pathway at their school. They will be adding legal studies next year, and they already have built out their courtroom, which is the picture that you see there. And they will be having a dedication of that space, I believe in September, to coincide with their 100-year anniversary of Columbus High School. So that will be a great event. Mark your calendars now for September for that. And then also in FY27, we will be adding 2 more AP classes in CTAE. CTAE has always had rigor. We had 2 AP classes previously, and now we're adding 2 more. So we're very excited to add cybersecurity at a couple of high schools, and also business with personal finance. And then for the first time next year, we will be adding we will be allowed to give students the credit they already deserve, honors credit, for the rigor that is in several of the classes that are offered in CTAE. So we have 23 CTAE classes that will be recognized as honors courses, which is really important and personally to me, because I feel like people continue to say that we need CTAE because not everybody's going to college. And while that's true, we need CTAE because kids are going to college and they need to learn now what they might major in, so that they won't change their major a bunch of times and waste a lot of money. And they ought to get credit for taking classes like biomedical and engineering and doing that kind of rigor in high school, even though it's in a CTA classroom. So I'm very pleased with Dr. Smith and Christine Hull for allowing us to add that next school year. And that comes to the end almost of my presentation, and that is, what can you do? We recognize that nothing that we do and nothing that I do in CTA is accomplished alone, and we need everyone's support to make that possible. And I want to take this moment to recognize members of my team that are present in the room. And we have Dr. Matthews, if you're a wave, Amanda Tolley, and Lori Marston. And I don't think anybody else came. But everything that we do is a team effort, and nothing that I do, I don't stand up here alone as the only one that makes these things happen. Everyone works together to make that happen, and so do you. And so what we're asking, what we're asking is your support, school board, in advocating for the expansion of CTA programs. Some particular areas that we need support with in getting some of the high school principals to possibly consider is expanding courses in education as a profession. We need to build our own profession and our own pathway, and it would be a dream of mine if we could have one of our high schools to add that as a magnet program. I think that would be a wonderful addition to our offerings, and a great, thing for that school, that high school, to be able to say that we produce X number of teachers in the Muscogee County School District. So I'm hoping that's something that will happen in the future. Recently, it's not on this slide, but mental health is actually a pathway that's now a part of CTAE, and it would be wonderful if we could add that, because there is a great need in our community for mental health professionals, and we can start students on that path in high school by adding that pathway. So that'd be another one that would be wonderful to add to our offerings. Secondly, CTAE continues to grow, as you've seen from the enrollment statistics, as well as we've been successful, but we do not want to continue to grow to the point where no one sleeps at night and there's not enough people to go around and do the good work that needs to be done. So we ask for your support in efforts to scale the CTA staff proportionally to meet the needs and the growth of our department. And then finally, and this is for everyone who's in the sound of my voice, is to share the CTA success story. We have some very great stories to tell in CTAE, and I blame myself for that a lot. I'm not a person that brags a lot. I like to be behind the scenes, but there are lots of great things going on in CTAE, and we would love it if you would talk about that amongst your friends and family and community members. And the final reason, again, to remind you of why CTAE is all of these students that you see here. I always like to end on a picture that highlights some of the wonderful things that have happened from the previous year. In our upper right-hand corner, we have our CTA Student of the Year last year from Shaw High School. She's now at Albany State University studying with some scholarship money, that check that she has in her hand to help her along the way. We've done the LOT program, we've toured, we've had the ED2 educators or economic developers 2 externship program. You'll see that group in front of at Pratt and Whitney. We have, students with FBLA. We see JRTC there, robotics. We have our Shine competition in the bottom left corner. Student from Kendrick High School won that for the first time last year, $2,500 from Startup Columbus. I believe she's in the Army now, or military service, I'm not sure. And then there's some other various pictures there, just to kind of show you the reason why we do what we do. And at this time, I'll take any questions that you have.
We may have some questions, but I do want to say, great job, as always, highlighting our CTAE students, and same thing with our Division of Communications, who put out those pictures when they're provided. So we do want to encourage the schools to continue to provide them so we can celebrate. But just for the generation that's still out there, we're talking about trade, the students learning a trade in school when we say CTAE. So you're asking something from us, from the board. Does that mean you're going to come back later with your request on how we expand it? And what does the CTAE honors courses, which are those, what does that look like?
As far as a request to come back, not a formal request. I mean, every year, of course, we do our local budget requests, and so, we'll ask for the things that we need in that budget request, and I just ask for your favorable consideration with all the other things that you have to weigh for that. In terms of the expansion of the programs, it's still a school-based decision whether or not they offer those or not, but I know that you all have relationships with the principals and that sort of thing. So if you're ever in those discussions or, visiting schools or in whatever way, just to let them know that we do need to feed our own pipeline. We need more teaching as a profession courses so that we can grow our own students, and then, of course, in mental health. But, we always need a teacher for, those programs too. But the good thing about teaching as a profession is any certified teacher can teach teaching as a profession. So it doesn't have to require any kind of special certification to offer that particular pathway.
So then your team will align the school with the community businesses and resources when they want to expand or do something different with their CTAE program in their building. There's some support. They don't have to figure everything out themselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you had a second question. Can't remember what it was.
I was asking, what are the honors?
Oh, honors, yes, ma'am.
Course, CTAE honors course.
I can provide you with a list, but it depends on the pathway, but a lot of the third level courses are, deserve the rigor of honors. And then there's some, like in terms of engineering, biomedical at Northside and those kind, and cybersecurity, that even the second course, is rigorous enough for honors weighting. So I can email you the list.
Yes,
of the
if you would send
list.
that out to us.
Yes, ma'am.
That's interesting to me. Ms. Chambers.
First of all, I want to say, Dr. Thomas, thank you so much for a comprehensive presentation, and thank you for your passion for CTAE, because we can hear it and feel it in your presentation, so we appreciate that. I just have 3 questions, really. And the first one is about really logistics on how we handle this. And I saw that there was over $1 million earned by students. Is that post-graduation?
No, ma'am, that's
Okay,
the money
while they're in school?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is about post-graduation. Are we keeping up or keeping track of students who have gone through the CTAE program and then actually became gainfully employed with some of our partners like Piedmont or Pratt and Whitney after going through the program? Are we tracking that? And if we are, how are we tracking that?
No, ma'am, we don't have I'll be honest, we don't have a formalized way of tracking that. I know on GOSA, the Governor's Office of Student Achievement, it has statistics, like how many students are working, but we can do a better job of finding out how many are hired. Like I know that Pratt Whitney says that 25% of their current workforce are students that came through, the Pratt Whitney internship program, might be higher than that. But it's at least 25%. So, I mean, that's something that we should do a better job of. But we don't.
Yeah, so one of the things you said is do a better job of telling our story. And so I think that those statistics will help us bring our story home for those supporters and maybe even allow other businesses to get on board. And that would help expand the program as well.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you would get us those numbers, we'll help spread that word. But we would have to know what those numbers are. The other thing I wanted to ask is there some type of roundtable discussion that's happening with these major businesses or centered around what type of skill set are they seeing either that our students are lacking or that our students are doing really good once they get to on-the-job training?
In terms of what they're lacking, we hear the same thing well, let me answer the first part of that, which is we have program advisory committees for every program area. So like there's a healthcare advisory, there's a business advisory and that sort of thing. And they meet twice a year. And then I have my own executive board, and we meet 3 to 4 times a year. And we ask those questions at those meetings, and the answer comes back over and over again. It's the essential skills like that they lack: showing up for work on time, conflict resolution, those kinds of things that we struggle with. I know Dr. Lewis has talked about that and tasked us with. We've been trying to actually find a credentialing system for that, where we can, we say we teach it, but we want something like a badging system or something where we can say, a stamp of approval that this student has definitely checked these boxes and fulfill these things and understands what it means to come to work on time and all the things. So that's a work in progress. I'm telling you, we have done a extensive search to try to find something that's reputable along those lines. But that is the number one. That collection of essential soft skills is what we hear over and over again. In terms of what they or what skills they have, our students are praised who finish the pathways, for what they've learned. So, our nursing students, they're praised for what they bring to the table, same with the IT students and engineering, that sort of thing. Okay. So it's not like one thing. It just depends on what pathway they finished.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. I may have a name for you that some of the corporates use in town that may be willing to partner with the school district. My last question, and you've sort of hit on this already, are there any things that is lacking from our current CTAE program that you would like to see occur in order to move us forward so that we're a state-of-the-art CTAE program? I know that we are already, but
of course,
how do we go from good to great?
From good to great. Yeah. I think I don't think we're lacking anything in the sense that we have all of the career clusters covered. Like we offer a program in every career cluster, and career clusters are the, sort of like the organizing convention that the Department of Labor uses to classify all jobs, right? So that means we have a program that crosses all jobs, right? I wish we had more than, just Jordan that was offering like, some like construction, welding, and that sort of thing. Right. But in lieu of that, we have Columbus Tech. The issue there, which is the issue that everybody says, is just transportation and getting students that want to participate in dual enrollment the ability to get to dual enrollment. Because, to take welding or whatever, or for us to offer those programs at, I'm sorry, I need to be in the microphone, those programs at Jordan to the whole district. And, and I know that I was preaching to the choir here. Transportation is a challenge, and I know we're working as hard as we can to solve that, but that's one of our hurdles. But in terms of state of the art, I wouldn't say that. I would just say I think we're hurting ourselves if we don't have more teaching as a profession. Okay. We need teachers. And if we grow up our own teachers and they stay and they go to Columbus State, sorry, and they hopefully will remain here. They understand the community, they understand the challenges. You know, they're here with their family, so they have support as they go through life. When they have children, grandma's here, you know, all the things that keep somebody in town. And then the thing I mentioned about mental health, that's a relatively new pathway for the state of Georgia. I think it's only 2 years old, but it just keeps coming up in other meetings that I go to, that we just need more mental health professionals because everybody's struggling with mental health. So it would just be nice, you know, it's kind of like a nice to have, you know, for us to have that because it is a relatively new program.
Great, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Madam Chair, if I may also say, one of the things that we have talked about is an area of concern, and this is true pretty much throughout the state, and I would think probably throughout the country. Sometimes we have the need for instructors in certain areas that we can't find them. Auto mechanics, for example, to come work for us, they can make much more in the workplace than they can as a teacher. So we're working on a plan that might help to address and shore some of that up with the help of our business and community partners down the road to bring people into the profession of teaching that may not have all the credentials to become an actual certified teacher, but they have the knowledge base and the skill set. So we're trying to figure out how we can shore up that difference in pay so it makes it lucrative for someone to come work for the school system, either part-time release time or in earnest, as it might be. So more to come on that.
My quick question was, when you mentioned kind of preparing them and things like being on time and just kind of the soft skills, do they have some kind of workshop or something they have to go through before they go out and kind of do the dual enrollment?
Every CTA class has standard 1 in every CTA class is basically all the essential skills. And the state of Georgia rewrote all of our standards, you know, to add that. So it's supposed to be, you know, reinforced in class, every class they take in CTAE. So there is no like sort of workshop or, you know, like a short course or anything like that, if that's what you're thinking, but it's part of the curriculum. And then a lot of teachers actually make it a part of the grade. They'll, you know, when I was a teacher, and I used to do it, and everybody starts out with 100 points. And then if you're late, you lose so many points. If your assignment's late, because, you know, it was akin to, you know, you're late for work, or you don't have your steel-toe boots today, or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So a lot of teachers will reinforce those kinds of things that way.
And so are all the students that we have that are in work-based learning, they are also on a CTAE pathway, or can it be separate?
Most of them are. So we recognize that, you know, some students need to work because they are actually a breadwinner for their family. So there's a category of students that falls into that category. It has to be capped at 10%. Or students that are working, but it's outside of their pathway. Because the way work-based learning is now, it's supposed to be like the practicum. You know, so you take all of your business classes and then you go work in an accounting firm. You know, and so it's supposed to be related to the pathway you studied, but there are cases where a student is working because they have to, because they just need to.
That's what I was curious. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any classes in high school where the teacher will come to the high school to teach the classes?
You mean like a dual enrollment? Like,
yeah, dual enrollment.
Yes, ma'am. They so there are some instances where they do come on campus, you know, and the students don't have to travel. And then also there are some teachers that are credentialed to teach the class as a teach a class as a dual enrollment class on campus.
That's true.
So we try to maximize those kind of opportunities where we can.
I was just thinking when I was at Chatco, we actually had a class that taught soft skills. A teacher came in from
right.
Columbus Tech, and that's what the class was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I figure we do it in middle schools anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
They always have to.
In reference to that question, Dr. Lewis, so I want to ask two things. Can you help us see our effort for our teachers who could be certified to teach a dual enrollment? They may work for CSU or CTC, and teach the class on the campus? What does that look like? And to consider transportation. We all know we don't have enough drivers, but just to see, not to just acquiesce to the fact that we got transportation issues, but to actually explore and see what opportunity there is coming up for the next week.
And we will continue to.
Okay.
And in terms of the teachers being credentialed, we do actively work toward that. I mean, Jordan is going kind of full tilt in that direction, and they're trying to get as many teachers, the College and Career Academy, so that's part of the mission. But where we can, we like teachers to do it. There's a requirement for the number of credit hours at a certain level. Like you have to have, 18 hours at the 3,000 or 4,000 or whatever level. I don't know all the details, but you know what I mean? You know how it has to be a higher level in order to be eligible to be credentialed. So there's a process we've gone through, and it's not just CTAE, it's, English and all, math and all, where they have to, submit their transcripts. They have to be reviewed by the post-secondary, and then they can find out whether they can be credentialed. So, teachers sometimes, they might be lacking just 3 hours, and they don't want to go back to school. You know what I mean? I mean, so your point about,
but my question is that an actual function in HR or somewhere that is checking for that alignment so that we support them if they want to go teach core subjects, math, SPED, we support them in that instance. Is there any support or any tracking or any development or any program that does the same thing for getting them credentialed to teach the EMS class or to teach the computer class or even chemistry? Because, if they're dual enrolled, those Columbus Tech offers some guaranteed courses that transfer to any Georgia public college. Are we working on anything like that is what I'm really trying to ask.
I mean, we're not working on that, and I guess in a systematic way, that's something that we could certainly look into. So, but I say we're not actively working on anything like that, but that's something that we could consider.
In a systematic way, she said.
Actually, it's great that you're saying that. We were trying to partner with you with some of the Teaching the Peach information that's coming through, because we would like to, some of the items that we're looking at are having like CTC and how they align with roles that we would like to fill. The CTAE program, when we also introduce the recruiting events and tie them together. So we are building it. It is the earlier stages, but we have identified some opportunities where we can align our recruiting practices. So we're looking specifically for CTAE type things.
That's a good idea.
Ability to do stuff like if someone was retired and they wanted to just come teach one of these AP classes, that they could just come do that every day, or does it have to be a full-time teacher?
That's beyond my.
If it's someone who is retiring, there are certain rules that govern when they can start teaching.
I don't even mean retired teacher. I just, I look at things like business with personal finance, and I think of the, all the corporate people we have out there that are retired that would come back. Because it's the kind of thing I would enjoy doing when I get to retire one day.
Yeah.
But
they have to meet, at this point in time, they still have to meet the teaching requirements, passing the various exams and that sort of thing.
But if they did that, is there flexibility that they could be a part-time teacher or something?
Oh, heck yes. Yeah. We're looking for that every day.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to come teach physics for a period or chemistry or elementary at this point. I mean,
I know y'all say that, but that's not, I'm in the community and I didn't know that was something people could do. So I think that's something that could be said more. I mean, I've laughed before and thought I'd love to teach English one day when I'm not fully working. I mean, I didn't really know that was a thing that was possible. So I do think that would be a good thing to highlight and put out there more.
That's the, what do you call them? What's that program? HR? The people that come from industry? Say it again? The GTAP, yeah, we talk about that all the time. So that's what, so now that we know, because we got all these acronyms, that's what that, that's what that GTAP does for people who come from industry.
But the GTAP, but.
Specifically, I always thought they had to be full-time teachers.
And
So
not
my
part-time.
question was if people can come do that to just teach a given class that's, needed,
What was the answer to that? How did you, what answer did you get to that?
They said yes.
Oh, that retired person, okay. So now.
From industry?
Yeah, what about let's say a dance teacher?
The waiver you talking about?
No, I was just wondering, they don't have to be certified as a teacher.
That's our strategic waiver.
That's the waiver.
Okay, yeah, okay, good. That's.
If they have industry.
Like a
credentials,
construction,
Yeah,
like a
construction,
construction
yeah. 'Cause
teacher.
that's the way, yeah, okay. That's part of our thing. Oh, yeah, we are strategic, okay. We did choose that.
Well, to Lori's point, though, would a strategic waiver apply to someone from, say, finance industry? Like it would for a dance or a construction?
Depends on the area. If it's an academic area, they have to be fully certified. If it's a CTAE or a unique, like for example, at Rainy McCullers, somebody has that, we have to get them either certified or they have to be, have the credentials.
Or they have to do what?
Have the credentials.
Credentials.
You can't just walk in
That's
up the
what I'm
street and
trying
say,
to
I'm
make
gonna
sure.
teach.
The credentials, I'm trying, but you were saying, I was just trying to make sure that they didn't have to have,
Now,
if they had credentials, that they didn't have to have like a teaching degree. That's what I'm trying to get understanding of.
Strategic waivers would at least have some kind of related background. And if they're going to become a teacher, though, full-time, they would have to get the proper certifications.
Okay,
So,
but let's say
but to start, remember, we have 6 pathways to become a teacher. So that's one of the ways in which you can do it, is from a
Okay, so my
strategic waiver
question is
position.
that they always know, I heard from Dr. Lewis, credentials versus a teaching certificate. So.
There are still some basic things that they do have to get.
Credentials versus teaching certificates. All right, do teachers, a person who comes in and let's say teach dance, they have good credentials, would they have to get a teaching certificate? 2 or 3 years down the road?
Down the road, yes.
Okay,
They'd be a strategic waiver
credentials is not,
initially,
everybody has to get a teaching degree then.
eventually.
That's what it is. Everybody has to get it. So I don't understand that, because I do like this concept of credentials. If somebody can teach dance and have those credentials, and that's the only class that they're teaching, just dance. That's what they're teaching. That's it, you know. But they still.
I would say that even as a teacher, you'd still have to have the qualifications to be able to convey what you learned as a dancer to the students.
All that these famous dance in Houston and in New York, these dance companies. Those people have credentials. And as they don't necessarily have a teaching degree, they have credentials. And I'm just saying, now I can't change any rules. I'm just talking about what makes sense to me. And what makes sense to me is that, and what will clear up some of our teachers in something like a performing arts school, really, in terms of that. Because we need English teachers, we need math teachers, we need all this other stuff. People with credentials in certain areas, then I'm just saying, I don't see now. I don't have but I guess what we have to go by what the state says and what our so we have to go by all that. But,
I guess,
yeah.
sorry. And because I don't quite fully understand like credentials, so like let's walk me through. I won't say English because I don't have any English certification, but I am a lawyer and I'm bar certified and all that. If I wanted to teach a legal studies class at Columbus High, and I'm not in any way saying I want to do that, but if I wanted to, what is it that I would have to do to be able to teach a legal studies class, one period a day, not as a full-time teacher?
You can do it for a year or two.
You would actually, all you have to do for this one would be to apply, and we would have to have your qualifications as a legal representative, fully certified, most recent, and then we could go through the process of identifying you as a strategic waiver. then you could, and then we would get you involved with like classroom management, things that you would not be able to do. That's the part, it's different to run a studio and it's versus running a classroom. So we've got to give you the tools to be able to do that successfully so the children get the best from you. So that's what we've got to translate what they do in the industry to the classroom.
In the industry, let me go back. My child, who's taking dance and a bunch of stuff to dance. Now, she's getting her academics at school. Those people who are teaching her dance, they're industry certified or credentials. They still have to manage their classroom. They still have to, when she's 3, when she's 4, when she's 5, when she's 6, they have instructors there who know how to manage that classroom, because if they didn't, those children would not learn how to dance. They would not have gone to school. A person who has credentials in these kinds of fields, as I said, and your point, I still don't see why they have to be certified. Now, I don't see it, but if the state of Georgia said that's what we got to do, that's just what we got to do. They manage classrooms. When you go to all these studios, dance studios, and all these different types of arts that we have that kids take, those people are in there managing those students as they teach their art, you know. And that's all they're doing. And I'm just saying, if they were in a classroom and that's all that they're doing, they're not doing, you know, any math, or they're just there for just that one thing, you know. I don't see, it just seems to me.
So that's determined by the professional standards, right?
Yeah, yeah, we can't
The
do
Georgia professional standards.
Lori gonna have to get a teaching certificate. She got a doctorate.
Through the Georgia
She got a
professional
doctorate now in
standards.
legal science. She's still gonna have to get a teaching. If she going up there.
I'm sorry to hear that, because I was going to call you later.
That's great. That was great discussion for public information as well. So thank you so very much. Oh, hold on a second.
Part of our work session or our we have coming up in March or April.
The retreat, you mean?
To talk about strategic ways to look at this from a recruitment standpoint, from an industry standpoint, or whatever.
An agenda item for the retreat. Anybody have any issues with that?
No.
All right. Got an agenda item from the board.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas. And that concludes the Education Department.
Thank you, Ms. Buckner. Discipline Committee, Ms. Sly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There is no
Item submitted for the Discipline Committee.
All right, thank you. Ms. Tillery, Policy Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh, I turned you off. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first one is going to be revised policy IFCB, Internet Acceptable Use. Based on continual review of board policies, the administration has revised board policy IFBG, Internet Acceptable Use. This policy was originally revised in compliance with SB 351 from the 2024 General Session involving social media. The statute requires that the local policy be submitted to the state by April 1st, 2026. Would you like for me to read just the changes? Okay. There's some editing and formatting changes, but I don't feel that anybody's worried about that. The major change is number 5. Prohibitions against students accessing social media platforms through the use of computer equipment, communication services, or internet access that is operated, owned, leased, and made available to students by the school district. Students shall be permitted to access social media platforms only, A, as directed by the school district, A, as directed by the school personnel, B, for the exclusive purpose of accessing and utilizing age app-appropriate educational resources, and C, under the supervision of such school personnel, and D, during the course of a school-related activity. Are there any questions? And then there is a number 9. It says provisions in the Code of Conduct providing punishment for student violating this policy. Do I need to read the provisions? Or y'all, do y'all have any questions on those? We do?
Sorry. My question was more, what do we have in place that can block them? Does that make any sense? I mean, I know, you know, that there's stuff out there that can kind of block, and I mean, I know I work near Brookstone, and I know even when I drive by it and I'm not doing anything on my phone, it like almost won't connect because they've done something that blocks a lot of internet usage.
Yeah, we actually have two things for students. So every device that's on our network goes through a content blocker before it hits the internet. But because Chromebooks go home, we actually need a second solution, and it's called GoGuardian, that's installed on the Chromebooks that allows the filtering to be filtered anywhere, at the library, at a coffee shop, at home. And then in addition to that, it gives the parents the ability to say, I want you to be off the internet at 7 p.m. at night, and kind of close down their own students' internet access. So there's two solutions for every student, whether they're here or at home. And one solution for the employees. That's basically the network content filter.
But I guess that doesn't, is there anything that can be done though when they just whip out their phone and they try to get on things? I get that
if they use our network, it goes through the content
if they're on
filter.
the Wi-Fi, but I guess there's not anything we can do from a cell service blockage.
No, there's actually a federal law that prohibits me from doing that.
Dang. Wonder what Brookstone does, but anyway, but no, that's good to know. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, I will move on to number 2, annual review of board ethics. Sorry, for some reason it's really small. The Muscogee County School Board has been recognized as an exemplary board by the Georgia School Boards Association. The board will seek to reapply for exemplary board status for 2026. The exemplary board classification requires that all board members abide by their local code of ethics policy. A review of the code of ethics policy is required annually at the Board of Education meeting. The board will address any infractions by members as per board policy, provided the latest signed DOE local school board governance training report that includes training received and their signatures agreeing to the code of ethics. Provide local code of ethics board policy. Do you want me to read all of the whole? Okay. Domain 1 is the governance structure. Domain 2, strategic planning. Domain 3, board and community relations. Domain 4, policy development. Domain 5, board meetings. Domain 6, personnel. Domain 7 is financial governance. And then there's conduct as board member. Conflict of interest. And I think that is it. Does anybody have any questions on those? If not, I will move on. Number 3, appoint the audit committee members. In accordance with the charter for the, I'm sorry? No, I think we just, we're good, we're good. In accordance, yeah, you'll have to call up, yeah. In accordance with the charter for the Audit Committee of Muscogee County School Board, the chair recommends the following board members and external members to serve on the Audit Committee for 2026. Mrs. Lori McCray, Chair, Dr. Kia Chambers, Board Member, Mrs. Nikki Tillery, Mrs. Pat Hughley Green, ex officio. External members, Dr. Donald E. Carter, Doctor of Bioethics, Mercer University School of Medicine, Mr. James Dickinson, Director of Finance at Synovus. Do we have any questions, or does anybody want to step down? If not, we will move on to number 4. 2026 GSBA delegates. The board recommends Naomi Buckner as a delegate and Kia Chambers as an alternate to represent the Muscogee County School Board at the GSBA Delegate Assembly to be held June 9th, 2026 in Savannah, Georgia. This appointment will allow the Muscogee County School Board to have voting rights at the Delegate Assembly.
We rolling them over too unless they are declining.
They're declining?
I said we're gonna roll them over.
Oh, yeah, yes, perfect. And then the East Bluffs Committee, number 5.
Hold on
is
one
still
second.
pending.
Yeah, that's pending. I'm just waiting for verification on one of the addresses to make sure they live within the district, and then to get clarification from a couple of you about making sure they are who you want representing in that particular district.
Okay.
So next week, we'll be able to confirm that next week,
Okay,
the
perfect.
members.
And if there are no questions, I will return it back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Personnel Committee, Ms. Jackson.
All right, personnel, we have one item. There's 5 attachments there. I do have a question about the bus monitors. What is the qualification of a bus monitor, and what is the starting pay?
I was prepared to answer until you said the pay. I have to look that up so I don't misquote. Okay. So a bus monitor, we have 2 different types of bus monitors. We have bus monitors that work with our special needs students, and we have bus monitors that work on our traditional routes to help with behavior management. And so the qualifications for a special needs bus monitor is the desire to work with that population. That is a hands-on position. We do door-to-door for our special needs students, and so they often help our students who are having crisis for whatever reason. They help our students get on and off the bus. They work very closely with the families, and so it's a very involved position. The bus monitors for traditional routes that are there for behavior management, it takes a strong spirit to keep those students calm so the bus driver can drive safely.
Okay.
You just have to be old enough to have the job, and outside of that, we will provide you all the additional training. The pay, 1 second. We can get it to you.
Okay, yeah, just get it back for both for the special education and then the regular. I don't know if it's different.
It's the same rate.
It's the same?
It's the same rate.
Okay, all right.
2 very different personalities for the job, but the same rate. I'm sorry?
No, he said it's.
Does a special ed monitor get paid more?
It's the same rate for bus monitors. Sped bus drivers get paid more.
Oh, the bus drivers get paid more?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry, I have a.
Dr. Chambers.
Thank you so much. I have somewhat of a comment and a question. I see that we have still 57 vacancies for bus drivers, but 54 vacancies in school nutrition. Is that normal, or are we seeing a decline, or why are there so many people missing from school nutrition?
So that's an excellent question as it relates to school nutrition. We're actually extremely proud of that vacancy number. It has gone down significantly over the years. There was a point just recently, since I've only been here for 4 years, so just recently, there was a point in which there were more vacancies in school nutrition than all other vacancies combined. So we have worked extremely hard to drop that number, to improve our retention rate, which is really where we're seeing it. We're retaining our workers more. So we've worked really hard to change the culture in school nutrition so people are wanting to stay with us.
So once upon a time, that was supported through the temporary agency. Is that still the case?
We are still using
vacancies.
Temps. We are still using temps to help fill our vacancies. Our temp agency is great, but they're not always able to provide it. So there are some kitchens that are working a little short, but we are being creative to provide them with the resources to be successful, menu planning that helps them be able to prepare meals that don't require as many people. You will see staff members who are not school nutrition serving. You'll see me serving. Anybody who is willing, we're willing to help to make sure we're able to support our students.
Yeah, I guess that's why they've resulted to the celebrity servers, huh? For the people to come out from the community.
Absolutely.
Ms. Tillery?
I did have an answer for you.
Okay.
Go ahead, you go ahead.
Oh, you do? Yes, thank you, Janice, for looking it up so quickly. 1146 is the entry salary for bus monitor.
All right, thank you.
And this is just a thought, and it may not even be in place anymore, but a few years ago, when I worked with Open Door quite a bit, they had a culinary program, and I know that St. Luke hired a lot of their staff from their culinary program, and I didn't know if that was an area that y'all have looked into as far as to try and fill some of the vacancies. They go through a whole process, and it worked well at St. Luke, and so that's just an option if you're looking for, if it, you know, is a good fit.
So just last week, CTAE and the and school nutrition, as well as HR met to review and finalize that program.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, good.
Awesome. There, any more questions?
Look, she even trained, Miss Green, are you training other board members? Okay, I was gonna comment on what you said, you know, but I do want to say I'm glad the culture is different, because I know at one time we had a few people that were quitting. But I was gonna comment about when I come up here sometimes to see different people, they would be at a school working in a cafeteria. So everybody at one time was working in the cafeteria. They had signed up for days to go and help. Is that better now? Or, well, we're still doing it, but is it better?
Yes, it's much better. Again, we are really proud of our retention rate. Okay. Our new assistant director in school nutrition has been working hard on our recruitment efforts. She's responsible for that. She's done a phenomenal job filling those vacancies, but our primary issue is that we have improved our retention significantly.
Okay, thank you.
There any more questions? Hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Jackson. We have Property Committee next. Ms. Frey?
Yes, starting off with our library report, as always, lots of exciting
Just
stuff.
slide your microphone over.
You know, I've never told I'm not loud enough. Library update, the Brain Fuse, which is the online tutoring platform 24/7. So you don't need to go pay for a tutor for your son, your daughter, your grandchild, or whatever. I think it would be really cool. Parents be able to get on there and learn how to help their students too. So thank you for that. And all kinds of stuff going on with the library staff, stepping in to help folks, whether it's applying for jobs, teaching folks how to digitize their music, helping with sign language and an outreach at a daycare, and then helping a soon-to-be grandmother print her boarding pass so she can go to Oklahoma with a paper pass just in case she didn't have cell service. So really, really cool. Thank you for all y'all guys do at the library. Any questions?
Ask Alan. The Brain Fuse, I couldn't understand why people, students didn't use it that much. Has that improved a lot, or how's that?
We've had that, it's an app, and you can also use it from the website, but we've had it for a number of years. It's a great service. We have a couple hundred students who use it a month. Everybody that uses it, that rates it, gives us 90% or better. They would recommend it to a friend, or they would use it again. So it's about getting the word out, and when they changed to a 24/7 service, we decided that would be a great thing to mention to y'all today. So it's just about getting the word out.
Okay, I know it's been out a while, but I just remember when I was teaching, I couldn't keep kids to use it, you know, and I couldn't understand why kids wouldn't use a service like that.
I've had to twist my own students' arms at home to use it, but when they do, they feel, oh yeah, this was pretty good. So
that's what I mean. I can't understand that. It's a good service and kids don't use it, you know.
Thank you. Tell all your friends.
Well, if you'll send us a link, we'll help you with marketing.
It's right on our website.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, moving on to the museum report. Again, record numbers continue to come and visit us at the museum. Over 5,000 as of January 29th for the month. So amazing. Over 1,700 of those were educational programs. Wonderful exhibition that opened on the 31st of January about the puzzle of politics. It's the service of Calvin Smyrie for those, 40, 50 years. Amazing look at his life and work. January 31st was the heist, a really cool fictional art kind of crime-solving thing. And of course, we have Black History Month and all the celebrations and workshops going on, and the glass-making workshops at the end of the month. So, any questions about what's going on at the museum? Thank you, ma'am. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Cantrell, construction.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Moving on to number 1 in the Construction Committee. Agenda H1, campus enclosure at Northside High School. The Department of Construction is requesting the board approve the not-to-exceed budget of $462,388 for Phase 1 at Northside High School project as part of the East Splosh Campus Enclosure Initiative. The budgetary impact, funding for the purchase not to exceed $462,000 will be expanded from the Capital Projects Fund, East Splosh. The superintendent's recommendation, approve the budget amount for Phase 1 of Northside High School Campus Enclosure Project. Any questions, ladies? If not, we'll move to our next agenda item. Item H2, Secure Vestibule Project. The Department of Construction is requesting the board approve the not-to-exceed budget of $6,589,210 to begin Phase 2 of the Secure Vestibule Project. The budgetary impact, funding for this project not to exceed $6,589,000 will be expanded from the Capital Projects Fund, East Splosh. The superintendent's recommendation, approve the project, the budget annual for Phase 2 of the Secure Vestibule Project. I had questions earlier myself on the wording of this. This is for security for our schools, isn't this correct? Correct. Okay, that's for entryways and trying to knock them out and get them all more secure than they have been. Any questions, ladies? If not, move to agenda item H3, the sound panels at selected schools. The Department of Construction seeks approval to issue a purchase request to Muscogee of Columbus for the installation of the sound dampening structures at Georgetown, Martin Luther King Jr., and Matthews Elementary Schools. As part of the East Splosh, the Department of Construction is following a phased approach to install sound dampening structures to elementary school gyms when needed. The budgetary impact, the funding for this project is $93,936. It will be expanded from the Capital Projects Fund, East Splosh. The superintendent's recommendation, approve the purchase request to Muscogee of Columbus for the installation of the sound dampening structures for Georgetown, Martin Luther King Jr., and Matthews Elementary School. Ladies, any questions? Moving to our next agenda item, item H4, gym floors at elementary schools. The Department of Construction seeks approval to issue a purchase request to Southeastern Services and Equipment for the installation of the gym flooring surfaces at Georgetown, Martin Luther King Jr., and Matthews Elementary School. As part of the East Splosh, the Department of Construction is following a phased approach to transition our elementary floors VCT tiles to resilient flooring designed for sports and multipurpose use. The budgetary impact, funding for the purchase, is $207,700 and will be expanded from the Capital Projects Fund, East Splosh. The superintendent's recommendation, approve the purchase request to Southeastern Surface and Equipment for the installation of gym flooring surface at Georgetown, Martin Luther King, and Matthews Elementary Schools. Any questions, ladies, on H4? And item H5, the construction status report. The construction status report is attached. The Department of Construction will do a slideshow next week to present the board in March. Any questions? If no questions, Lady Chair, back to you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much. Finance Committee, Ms. Chambers.
Thank you so much. Finance Committee, item 1 is purchase exception D. These are our renewals. There are 2 of them. One is Citrix Software. This is the Department of Enterprise Technology seeks to approve the approval to issue a purchase request for Miracle Software Systems for network software that distributes incoming network traffic across multiple application servers or resources to prevent individual servers from becoming overloaded. The funding for this purchase is totaling $38,889.02. Any questions about that, board members? Okay. Hearing none, I'll move on to the second item under renewals, and that is a maintenance renewal. This one is for the Department of Plant Services, and they are seeking approval for the second and final renewal for 2 optional renewal years of the contract with Outdoor Solutions for the district-wide grounds maintenance. This is a funding for the purchase not to exceed $1,332,705. This will come out of the maintenance and operation function of the general fund and the Columbus Library Fund. Any questions about that maintenance renewal? The term is from March the 1st, 2026 to February the 28th of 27. Okay, hearing no questions about our renewals, I'll move on to our invitation to bid, the RFPs. There are 3 of them. One is a security filter renewal, and this one is a change. So on May the 19th, 2025, the board approved PC Solutions and Integrations, Inc. as a vendor for these services. The department is now transitioning this service to the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia due to cost savings. No funds have been spent with PC Solutions and Integration, Inc. for these services. This item is to provide an update to the board. Can someone explain, did something happen? If we're approved for the money to be spent with a certain vendor, how are we changing that? Can you explain that? I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Pleasant.
So the Board of Regents, every once in a while, determines that across the state, we can benefit from having a consortium buy, and they'll negotiate on our behalf a better pricing than we could get individually. And that's what's happened in this particular case. We thought we would have to go individually to a vendor, and then found out from the Board of Regents that we could purchase through them at a greatly reduced rate.
Okay. And did we have a contract with this vendor or the previous vendor?
No, we just
We
had a
didn't
quote.
sign anything?
Right.
Okay, okay, very good. Okay, well, this board members is the first of $61,504, but that will be spent each time. And there is an attachment that explains each year we will pay that same amount. Any questions, additional questions about that? Okay, hearing none, I will move on to number 2, which is uninterruptible power supply. And this is not to exceed $17,000. This is so that during the loss of power, the unit will continue to provide power to our data center until the generator is able to be activated. Any questions about that? Sounds like a very good use of funds. Okay, number 3 is furniture for Blackman Road. It's a little over $49,000, and that there is not an attachment, but this is funding for the purchase totaling $49,243.53. Furniture for Blackman Road.
Do we know if it's classroom or if it's something that the school is requesting that have
Media.
identified that they need it?
It's educational media services function of the state, federal, and other federal programs. Does somebody want to? Dr. Smith, I think that's your item.
Janice.
Oh, I'm sorry, Janice.
It says that it's for the media center.
Media center.
Yeah,
Educational media services.
yep. It's for the media center at Blackman Road.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to professional services. There are 6 of those. One is supplemental health care. This is for the Department of Program for Exceptional Students. and they are asking for the approval to increase the existing purchase order with supplemental health care. This is, funding for this purchase is not to exceed $91,000. This is in addition, so the total new expenditure will be $191,000. Any questions about that? And this is through the Exceptional Students Program.
I guess because we have a lot of, third-party vendors that help with a lot of these kind of solutions. What more specific is this? And are these people that are on the ground in the district that we're getting through another vendor to provide? I'm guessing this is some kind of health or mental care.
It says 2 additional professionals were added and 1 additional professional is anticipated.
Mr. Knopf
So
is
will
ready.
this pay for a
It's for
person?
speech-language pathologists
Okay.
that are highly in demand.
Well, it would just be helpful if that was in there, because I'm sitting here kind of going, are we needing, what more specifically within the realm of services? Thank you.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You want your mic on?
Especially, right there, so they always tell why they need it. And when you read the text of the ones that are following that are sped, they tell you why they need to increase.
This one just said
Professional.
I didn't know if it was a teacher, a therapist, or what it was. So that was
Oh, you mean what it
Yeah.
was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Didn't say. Okay. Is that the going rate, 91,000 for a speech pathologist?
That's what I was kind of wondering.
Really?
For the rest of the year.
Say it again.
Okay.
It's for 3 for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Now, they make more than this.
Is that on an at-needs basis? Because that can't be a hour. Oh, for a week. Okay.
We need them.
Yeah, I realize we need them. I'm thinking that's
they're
kind of
covering-
low.
Yeah, they're covering parts of caseloads, so.
Okay,
So we need them.
partial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
Sounds good.
these are part-time people?
No, I mean, these are some of them may be part-time, some of them may be full-time, but they're covering full caseloads. I mean, they're helping to
Okay.
cover.
I was just wondering, because I was thinking about the surprise of the amounts, because one of my daughter's friends make almost this.
That is so low.
One person.
For 3 people.
One person makes almost this. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell that's all.
All right.
All right, thank you so much. Visual impaired services is number 2. And this is funding for this purchase is not to exceed $25,000. And this is, will be expended from the instructional funding of the general fund. And there is an attachment. And this is also coming from the Department of Exceptional, Program for Exceptional Students. And the reason why they need it is because it is necessary due to the significant increase in student service demands, expanded caseloads, and the need for appropriate supervision to ensure compliance and quality of service. And this is not to exceed. All right, hearing no questions, I'll go on to number 3, which is counseling consultants. This is the Department of Counseling and Social Services. They seek to approval for a contract with This Works for professional services using school-based mental health grant funds allocated to the Muscogee County School District. This funding purchase is not to exceed $537,745. It will be expended from the pupil support function of the state, federal, and other programs. And there is no attachment, so can we have someone explain how we got to $537,000? What does that cover? And it says that the new expenditure will, the total will, just for board members' sake, $983,465.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, I should say.
to the board. I'm Dr. Traquila Nelson, the Director of Counseling and Social Work Services. The increase comes from a carryover from last year. Back in January the 28th to be exact, the federal government froze all grants. And so we could not allocate funds for hiring at that particular time. Our grant period starts from January to December. And so we ended up at the end of the year with substantial carryover, especially when the government shut down. We had to put also a halt. And so we were given the clearance to carry over the additional amount that you see here. And so we just wanted to make sure those funds were allocated to student services. They were coming from hiring social workers, the school-based mental health social workers, and we couldn't hire them until August. So from January to August, that money sat there. And then we were able to hire 10 of the 11, so we're still on the search for one more. And also there was an $11,000 that was included for moving fees, and we did not have anyone, everyone's local that we've hired. So we wanted to make sure we were being judicious about how we were spending and didn't want to leave anything on the table if the government was going to allow us to carry over.
Okay, can you provide us maybe with just a breakdown? Because
Yes,
it's almost $1 million of how that $1 million will be spent.
Well, some of that, those funds were already spent from last year.
Right.
So the 500 is just the additional. So
Right.
And it's in pupil services, which is telehealth services, individual counseling, small group, also home visits. So
Right.
I can submit that to you as well.
Right, because usually they give us an attachment that says how many students, how many hours they were served, things of that nature.
Absolutely.
And it gives you a breakdown of really who's being serviced, how many students are being serviced, and things of that nature.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be helpful.
Absolutely.
Ms. McCray?
Well, that's what I was just thinking. Because what, you've talked about some with some school-based, and this is talking about a contract with the Works. And so I just wanted to make sure.
So as a part of the grant, we had to partner with an agency along with the school-based mental health social workers are housed at the schools. This is additional services beyond, so they're doing individual counseling full-time at the schools. With This Works, they're actually doing individual telehealth. Our school-based mental health social workers are not doing telehealth. And they're also going into the homes. This Works, they visit the homes to do parent classes, parent skills. They also see our students over the summer. Our school-based mental health social workers do not work over the summer. So, and then they also offer small group counseling.
Again, yeah, it would be good to see the breakdown for all of that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Okay, moving on to professional services. Number 4, transportation services. The Department of Athletics is seeking approval to increase the existing purchase order with Dobbs Transportation and Travel and KNS Transportation. The funding for this purchase is not to exceed $150,000. If we include this item from the current agenda, the new expenditure for these companies will be $530,000 total. Any questions?
Is this impacted by the classification change? It's not, it's just based on what we what we did last year? Okay, thank you.
Miss McCray? Miss Buckner, would you like to turn on your mic? Can you wait just 1 second? Miss McCray had hers on first. Miss McCray?
Okay. Curious with like professional services, is that, we don't have to bid those out, or is it, do we have certain vendors that we continue to use for that? I might be looking at the wrong person.
They're all looking back at you.
Yes, right.
Actually, we sent out a bid last week for the charter services.
Okay, because it's not, usually when they're bid out, it's presented to us where we kind of see, the different
And
options.
the bid has just been sent out to the public. So we will be getting that information back and coming back to the board with the prices where it has been bid out.
It's under professional services.
Yeah, so like the one right now that we're approving, is that a contract we already had, and it's just gone
We're
up in
extending it.
expense?
Yeah, there's just more need for it right now, but we are at this point going out for bid for these particular services.
Okay.
For the next one, okay,
Now,
thank you.
is that because?
Ms. Buckner?
You said we're going out for that. Is that because we made a projection here and we don't know exactly how much? When the bids come back, what are we looking? That's in addition to this.
It would be for future
Okay.
needs.
It was. So it's not. Okay.
Yeah, it would be more than likely for the start of the new year.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Any additional questions about transportation? Okay. Hearing none. Number 5 is evaluation services, and this is a funding purchase not to exceed $25,000. This is from the Department of Counseling and Social Work Services. They seek to approval to issue a purchase request to Construction and Concepts International for external evaluation services related to school-based mental health grant. The external evaluator will independently assess the effectiveness of the Muscogee County School District school-based mental health project using a data-informed mixed method approach. The evaluation will monitor compliance with Government Performance and Results Act indicators, as well as project-specific performance metrics. So we're hiring someone just to make sure that we are following the outlines of the grants?
Probably a requirement. Yeah.
It is?
Yeah, it's a requirement of the grant to have an evaluator, and that's part of the funds have to be set aside to go to an evaluator.
Perfect.
So that's part of the application when you apply,
Okay.
you have to have an evaluator of the grant.
Okay. And have we used this evaluator before?
That I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Did we get to see the results of?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Last one for professional services, Solient Healthcare Services. This is a funding request not to exceed $25,000. This is in addition to previous approvals. If we include this item, the total expenditures will be $2,525,000. This is from the Department of Program for Exceptional Students. Once again, they seek approval for Solient Health Services. There isn't an attachment, and I know I have asked before. Can someone explain the type services that they do for us? I just have forgotten. I know we talked about it before. Yes. Okay, nurses, okay.
And speech therapists.
Speech therapy. Okay, thank you so much. All right, hearing, Madam Chair, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. All right. Number 4 is competitively bid purchases. The first one is the stadium concession stand. Chick-fil-A is the chosen vendor, and they will actually pay the Muscogee County School District 15% of the gross sales from the concession receipts.
So it says we only received a response
One.
from Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
Okay.
No responses from the other vendors. Mm-hmm. And it is attached, board members, if you want to look at the extensive list. Okay, number 2, portable basketball systems. This is a competitive bid as well. Funding for this purchase is not to exceed $24,000, and this will be expended from the pupil support function of the capital projects from the ESPOS. The attachments, they are attached. Hearing no questions, I'll go on to number 5, which is our sole source and volatile services. And this is for fuel purchases. Funding for this purchase is totaling $87,457.78, and this is all for fuel. Hearing no questions, I'll go on to number 6, which is all of our budget adjustments. One is from the library, and this is a reallocation of funds. There's no change to the revenue, and there is an attachment. Hearing no questions, I'll go on to number 2. This is the CTAE program grant, and this is no change in revenue, and it is attached. Reallocation of budgeted funds for the CTAE program. Last one under budget adjustments is for special education, and this is an additional allocation of budgeted funds. There was an increase in revenue and an offset or a reallocation to our expenditures. And the budget adjustment amount is for $680,587, and there is a detailed report attached if you have questions. Going on to section 7, that is our new budgets, and we have a budget for Jordan CCA grant, and that is attached. This is a federal, state, and under federal, state, and other program grant for $95,150. This is for the College and Career Academy, and there's another one attached, number 2. My system is going really slow. Yeah, mine is frozen as well. There's a Perkins carryover, and hopefully in just a moment we'll be able to see how much that is. Okay, Ms. Buckner.
Dr. Lewis, we have designated grant writers in the district, like the various grants. Who writes them? The departments themselves, or do we have like a designated section for grant writing? Okay, so those people who seek in those departments who seek. Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, number 2, Perkins carryover. This grant will assist in covering the expenditures permitted under the guidelines published in the fiscal year 2026 CTAE budget. Let's see. It is attached. This is $23,362. Okay. All right, hearing no further questions, number 8 is our financial statements that we receive every month. The attachments are for December of 2025. Number 9 are donations, and we want to thank everyone who thought it not robbery to donate to our schools. We thank you for your kindness and your benevolence. And number 10 is our budget calendar. And so that budget calendar is attached, and it runs from January 2026 to October, and looks like in June is where we have our public hearings. Ms. McCray, you have a question.
Well, earlier it made me think of something when we were talking about the CTAE and like if something was put up, for more staffing. We don't really hear what's not included in the budget. Like if somebody asks for something and it's not included in the budget, we don't typically know that. So I didn't know, and this will not be answered tonight, but to give some thought to ways that we can better know that, yes, we see what is included and what we're going to do for the coming year, but that we could have a better idea of what was decided against. Thank you.
Is that something we're gonna get sent out to us moving forward, or
I mean, we might need to put some parameters to it.
Yeah.
It's not my like.
in place? Okay.
Need to get it designed.
We'll have to
Yeah.
work through what those parameters would look like and exactly how we could present that information with the budget.
Okay.
To share, and we can kind of think through how to do that.
Okay. Madam Chair, I think that concludes the Finance Committee, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Are there any requests, any other updates, Dr. Lewis?
Just as mentioned earlier, this week is I Love My Future Week, and there'll be a host of different career awareness and exposure activities being conducted throughout our schools this week, so just want to make everybody aware of that.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, we will, this is a work session, so we will adjourn. We'll just wave goodbye.
Next week's on Tuesday.
Next week is Tuesday because of President's Day. We'll see you back here, same channel, same time. And then if we all would just stand by for a minute, we can go ahead and take our group shot for 2026 since we're all here. Wave goodbye. Good night. Y'all are always cute. What are you talking about? They say they're not camera ready. That's the thing.